Welcome back. Couple of topics with our guest here today, and really honored to have Victor with us, Victor Marx, dealing with, well, first of all, men being men, and yet the impact of childhood drama. All of this is very real. Victor Marx is with us today. He's what they consider a high-risk humanitarian. He's the author and the founder of All Things Possible Ministry, an organization dedicated to rescuing and restoring lives impacted by trauma and human trafficking around the world. He is speaking this coming week at the Grants Pass Edgewater Fellowship, the men's event there, and does have a website here, GameChangersNorthwest.org. That's the for the church, GameChangersNorthwest.org. And VictorMarx.com is his own website, and there's a picture of that landing page as well. Victor, good to see you, friend. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Welcome to Southern Oregon. This is where you're probably going to buy your retirement home.
Well, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Did you ever interview a colleague of mine? It's Carl Payne. Does that ring a bell? Dr. Carl Payne?
Oh, yes.
Warfare?
Yes.
I watched that years ago.
Wow.
Impacted me deeply to the point where I started researching Dr. Payne, became a colleague of his, read and studied his stuff, and I'm telling you, I think it was last week, we released a film that he's in on spiritual warfare, and it's radically changing lives. But I want to credit you for your interview in journalism that made me go, wow.
Well,
this is something different.
I just ask questions. That's all I do for a living.
Well, it matters.
Well, good to see you. By the way, welcome. You'll be speaking at Edgewater Fellowship, their men's group. I've had the high honor of being a speaker there. I think I was the first one of the season, so you get to go be cleanup or something. I don't know. You can finish the thing there.
Yeah, I'll. You may have to follow up after me to undo what I do.
No, I don't know. So much to talk about. Well, first of all, your personal story is pretty amazing, and you endured some tough childhood. Can you give us a quick overview of that?
Yeah. And I'll say this to those watching. The best way to really get the full aspect of my story, I was on Sean Ryan's podcast, Sean Ryan, number 83. And it's been seen by millions now. And it's something that I actually don't like to talk about, but I do because it helps people. And it was childhood abuse, an absent father, a mother who got pregnant by him, and he had shoved rosary beads down her throat and put a pistol to her head. He left before I was born, didn't claim me as his kid. I went to 14 schools, that lived in 17 different houses. And the main thing about all that is, outside of sexual and physical abuse because of bad characters that are hurting single mom brought into our world, and then just others, once you become a victim, it's like the enemy knows, let's try to destroy this kid, his view of God and what's right. Well, and I can say this, that although I wish someone had come to help me in my greatest time of need, or protect me, I do believe this, that God can redeem even the worst that happens to a person. That the person watching right now that's going, I'm in the middle of this, and I just can't take it anymore. Or someone that's come from a very troubled, hurting past. And I'll just tell y'all, don't give up. That's the hardest. That's really, enduring is one of the hardest aspects to someone who has suffered injustice. And God can redeem. I mean, his word says it, and he does it. So that's, yeah.
When did you come in relationship with the Lord? What age?
It was June 22nd, 1986. I was serving in the United States Marine Corps and had kind of done everything you're supposed to do to be a man, because that's what most young men want to accomplish is this manhood. And I tell people, I learned how to fight, learned how to drink, and learned how to chase women. And from where I was from, that was the qualifications of manhood. Until I met some Marines who were women, WMs, and they actually did that just as good as me. They knew how to fight, they knew how to hold their liquor, and they actually probably got more women than I did. But from that, I just went, wow, this whole system of what's right and wrong, I'm starting to question. And that's when my biological dad, who was absent most of my life, sent me a letter. And he took responsibility for being a failed father. And he shared that he'd come to faith in Christ, wanted me to visit him. And I did. And it was him taking me to some type of Baptist Costal church where I heard the gospel, which I'd heard before, but it was something about seeing men worshiping God wholeheartedly, not an aspect of religion, just men worshiping God. And then hearing a simple message that the cross was for me, every person, but I felt it was for me. And that's when I came to faith.
Wow. Okay, so here you are today. I want to reserve the time here, but God's caught you in a ministry, and part of your focus is calling men to rise up and be protectors and providers.
Yep.
And I get that. I think we do, but boy, that's easier said than done. And a lot of guys will come, and you'll experience it, you probably already have in all your engagements. They come out of curiosity. What do you have to say that's anything different? I don't want to feel guilty because I made a lot of mistakes. I mean, you're really walking into a hotbed of emotions. How do you handle it?
Well, when I validate the stuff they've come from, I encourage them to take responsibility of what's theirs. And then, man, we just try to do a mind shift change to go, now what? Regardless of your past, man, your future is most important because God can redeem your past, but he really requires you to work with him in order to have the best future possible. And most men just don't have a mission in life. They're caught in a rut. It's either they're trying to find a job or they're working a job, and they've lost focus on how tremendous, fun, exciting the reality is when you're finding the Lord. And that doesn't exclude hardship. That's actually part of it. So I work with a lot of special operations guys and people who've learned to make sacrifices for a greater good. And when you're doing that in the physical world, all you got to do is transfer that in the spiritual. And that's where a lot of the battles lost. So I don't know. God just seems to be touching, encouraging, convicting, challenging, building up men wherever we go to speak. So yeah.
There's another part I've heard a couple things you're saying here. You said it at the beginning of our time together, and you just mentioned it again, and that is, do you think maybe even mature Christian men understand spiritual warfare?
No, absolutely not. I think the church has been lulled into an acceptable place of, quite honestly, not only ignorance, willful ignorance, and then sin. The machinery of ministry for the last, I'm going to say 40 years, which is my time, it has morphed into something that is fruitless. It's not sustainable. That's why men don't like to go to church, get engaged. Okay, I'm this close to posting a video on my social media and on YouTube of a deputy sheriff whose life got blown apart by false accusations against his ex-wife that caused him to be arrested by his own task force, put in a jail he used to work at, and then the risk of losing his kids. He went to a church. This is in California, so if it can happen in California, redemption in heaven. But I'm telling you, he went to this church. He's just like, hey, is there anybody I can talk to? And thank God for this former Marine who heard this guy. He said, come here, what's the situation? He's like, hey, man, I was a cop on a task force for 20 years. And this. He goes, well, I'm starting a men's Bible study at my home on spiritual warfare, Warriors for Christ. And this guy was like, that sounds pretty wild. I said, I'll go. So a 10-week series based on the film that we made, The Unseen War, which we have it in two forms, straight film or, a course that you can take people through. He went through the course with this guy. At the end, it talked about demonic oppression, the things that Carl Payne, explains. And at the end, they were like, well, does anybody want prayer? And everybody looked at the one deputy sheriff whose life is just wrapped around Axel. They said, yeah. They prayed for him. There was a manifestation of the demonic, which he probably needed to go, oh, shoot, this is real. And we ask a question like, demon, what is your purpose for being assigned to this man? And it was to kill him. He heard it. He spoke it out loud. He's like, oh, my gosh. So he got set free that night. Next morning, which, a little side note, when one of those men drove him to his house, he had already made a noose, and he was going to kill himself that night. If there wasn't, he was under it. The demonic attack was so strong on him. Now he's set free, gets rid of the noose, goes to court the next day. The judge drops the restraining order and tells him, sir, you'll have your kids back in 2 days. All this happened just a few weeks ago.
Wow.
As far as when I heard, it was a quick little testimony video. So you see, men, especially older men, God's Spirit's moving, and he's not going to put new wine in old wineskin if older dudes aren't ready and willing. And we're not talking about type of music, stage. We're talking about just the building blocks of spiritual warfare. Mm-hmm. And a lot of men have come to just kind of like, well, maybe over in Africa, maybe and it is over there. Haiti, I was in Haiti not long ago, but it's in America, and men need to know how to win.
Victor, can I hold you over a little bit? Can I take a quick break and come back to you?
It's going to cost you extra.
Okay, let me take a little break because I got a couple more questions here. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, first of all, he has a website, Victor Marx, marx.com, and he'll be speaking at the Grants Pass Edgewater Men's Fellowship coming up April 27th, this coming weekend, so you may want to check that out. And you can go to gamechangersnorthwest.org. That's the website for the church to find out more about that. It's a great event, beautiful setting, and terrific ministry. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, and such an honor to have with us today Victor Marx. We're going to hold him over a little bit because he has a lot to share. By the way, he'll be the guest speaker this coming weekend at Edgewater Fellowship here in Southern Oregon at Grants Pass. You can go to that website to learn more about it, gamechangersnorthwest.org. And he has a personal website, victormarx.com, and there's a picture of that landing page as well. Victor, we briefly talked about spiritual warfare. You have been yourself described as a spiritual warrior. I have a two-part question for you. Number one is, can you, in a layman's term, explain to us what spiritual warfare is, number one, and number two, and since the Lord has been using you in this area, has it made you more spiritually discerning?
Well, to answer the first question is, spiritual warfare, think of it like this. The Bible says that what we can't see is more real than what we can. And if you kind of envision physical combat from intel to engagement, knowing your enemy, studying tactics, to protect something worth protecting, our country, our freedom. Now just transfer that into a realm you can't see. A lot of it is the same.
Mm.
And I know lots of preachers and teachers that will speak on Ephesians 6, but then they actually don't know how to engage the demonic, which is a problem because it's like, hey, then what? Knowing one thing, but then doing is a second. We operate in our ministry where, I mean, missions and missionary work where people have tried to kill us, not only overseas, someone tried to kill me here at our headquarters. It's real. What we call the manifestation of evil is very real. So to help men understand that, it will increase their faith, but you to the second question, does it make you more discerning? Yes, because my wife likes to say plantings of the enemy. You start to realize maybe someone who's saying something to you, trying to do something, causing havoc in your life, maybe it's not just them. Maybe they're being fueled. And it may be just, I'm not talking about possession. I'm talking about they may be repeating what they're hearing.
Mm.
And the enemy does have access to our minds. And that's why Ephesians talk about the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, shield of faith, sword of the spirit, the whole armor of God to be able to stand against the evil one. And most people, especially men, they're not cognitive and they don't have the level of faith needed, which is only that much, in order to go, whoa, what are these thoughts? The Bible says, take every thought captive. It's a discipline most men don't want. So I just tell men this: if someone walked up and slapped you, it would solicit a response, either disbelief, fear, and passivity, and you cowardly run away, or you're gonna say, "That won't happen again."
Yeah, I'm glad you're dealing with this because a lot of people run away from it. Some people think it's hocus pocus, and some people just don't know what to do when they encounter it.
Yeah, yeah,
And so it's real. You have to respect it
yeah.
and deal with it. How do you tell men to reevaluate their position in the home?
Well, first of all, no home is perfect, and I never call men to perfection, just the right direction. And a husband and a father's got to walk so closely with the Lord that anything that tries to enter in, disrupt, or try to destroy your family unit, it's you. There's no one else coming. There's no one else that's going to, there's not a 911 for when the enemy is trying to destroy your family. You can get help from other men and believers, but it's you. You're the watchman on the wall. You're the priest of your home, not your wife. The responsibility falls with you. And I'd say we live by the 4 A's, always aware. When something happens, assessing what's the why behind this is happening. 3, there are times just to avoid conflict where we're like, it's not worth it. Or 4, you engage with the action that would hopefully be spirit led, not just fleshly led. And, to land on the spiritual thing, I'd say this: one of the simplest things I do and most effective is pray for people. I simply go, hey, do you want me to check and see if you have any demonic assignments against you? It takes me 5 to 10 minutes. And if there is, you'll know. And then we can pray to have them destroyed. And you can be set free from what we'd call a stronghold, just constantly burrowing in with thoughts. And that's probably one of the most effective things we do. And when men do that, they either have to go, oh, wow, that was wild, and their faith increases, or they'll go, I don't want to believe that. It's like, well, man, you're losing already. And some of the worst people I've seen are actually pastors. As a pastor of a very large church once told me, Victor, because I spoke there, so did my wife. He said, Victor, if what you're saying is true, I'd have to pray for a lot of people. And he didn't want to. I just went, man, that's just disgusting, quite honestly.
Well, gosh, I could see where coming to hear you is so very important. Let me just say a little plug again. This is coming Sunday night. He'll be at Grants Pass. Where's home for you, Victor? Where are you?
Well, we're based in Colorado
Springs,
up in the mountains, and we have training
Okay.
quarters here. Yeah.
But he's going to come on out this weekend, Edgewater, there in Grants Pass that evening, and it's called The Game Changers. GameChangersNorthwest.org is the website, or his website, victormarx.com. Before I run out of time quickly, you've also been very involved in seeing the whole issue of human trafficking and the injustice of that. How in the world do you deal with that in your head and your heart at the same time, try to make a difference?
Oh, this is a great question. Well, I founded a think tank that then produced a task force called Protecting Children's Innocence. And we work by through and with law enforcement, federal, state, local.
I got about a minute and a half. I got about a minute and a half. Go for it.
Great. For MOUs, signing and working with. So we're not some vigilante nonprofit or somebody making claims. We rescue, thousands of children, because no one should be making any claim unless they can back it up. Mm-hmm. And I say that because there's a lot of people out there doing stupid stuff and it's not real. So how do you protect your mind? One of the things we do at our headquarters is next week, as a matter of fact, we're bringing in law enforcement, agents, analysts, those who all the way to prosecution, to help them decompress, work through mental, emotional, and then physical to do it. But yeah, the old way of saying it is we hunt pedophiles and we protect children, and it is a absolute tsunami in America. Yeah, because we've done all over the world, but Americans really don't know. We took a snapshot. In 1 hour, there were over 99,000 images of videos or photos of kids being abused sent across the internet in 1 hour.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Well, pray for him. Come on out and hear him Sunday night over there at Edgewater in Grants Pass. Go to their website, GameChangerNorthwest.org, to learn more about that particular event, him being at this coming Sunday night. And then you can go to Victor's website, victormarx.com. And very resourceful there. Be a part of what he's doing and this whole thing of trafficking, and support him. God bless you, Victor. Good to see you, friend.
You too. God bless you. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you.